Hey guys, Trev from the Struggling Artist Podcast, and I want to talk to you real quick about Struggling Artist Record Club. The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Hello, today our guests are Mike and Pat of the band Massive Nightmares. Great conversation with these two. I'd never met them before. I'm pumped that I had a chance to talk with them. We talk about all sorts of things with the band, and we go in all sorts of different directions, to be honest with you. It was quite fun. It was quite a fun conversation. Stick around to the end of the episode to hear a song off of their self-titled EP. This is episode 313 of the Struggling Artist Podcast, Struggling with Massive Nightmares. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing, little count. It has like a teleprompter option too, and I tried using that for another project, and like it was going way too fast. I felt like the Micro Machine guy trying to talk. I don't know. I don't know if I just dated myself with that one, but
no,
Yeah.
That's our wheelhouse right there. Yeah. Micro Machines, yeah,
no doubt.
I think Micro Machines kind of peaked once they showed up in Home Alone, and they were like the tool he was using to get them to fall on the floor. Like they climbed through the window.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got my Micro Machines. It was like a product placement for sure. But yeah, big Micro Machines guy over here.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming on and doing this. Appreciate it.
Dude, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Of course. Now you guys are local to Boston, yeah? Or the area? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I've lived in like Brighton and Austin for like over a decade, and I just moved out to the burbs.
Nice.
So moved out in like 2020, but yeah.
Right on.
We practice in Malden at the Some Studio.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
On base.
Whereabouts are you located?
I'm outside of Worcester. I'm like in between Worcester and Providence. It's a nice little town, but I'm close enough to everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not close to is Malden, and I go there way too often for shows.
Yeah.
I go to Faces quite a bit. So.
Dude, Faces is awesome. We grew up in Medway, which I don't know if that's near where you are, but that's kind of like that Worcester.
Yeah.
Worcester, Boston, Providence triangle.
Like Medway's like right on the back side of everything too. Like it's like right there. Yeah. I used to go. I've had a few cocktails at the Medway Lotus actually.
You live to tell a tale. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you have all your teeth, I presume.
I do.
The original teeth.
Yeah. I had friends who lived out in like, where did they live? Like Milford, Hopedale.
Yeah.
And when I first, I had just moved, I was living in Worcester at the time. I had just moved out this way, and I I had met some people out there, and they were like, "Oh, we got to go to this place," and we went to some. Like I was like, "These are like the diviest bars." There's something about Chinese restaurant locals, like people who go there to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and play Keno.
Yeah. If there was like a professional league for drinkers, it would be places like the Lotus, where you don't go there after 9 on a Friday or Saturday unless you have a plan. And I feel like both me and Pat's dad probably got into at least one fist fight there in our lives. So it's just it's filled with memories and nostalgia.
I won't say I got into a fist fight there. I will say it was close though, and I was like, "This is crazy." Like we're at a restaurant, like you know what I mean? Like this isn't like the Glory Days bar in my hometown where people go and fist fight all the time. I'm like, I'm like, there's people eating dinner.
What are you doing on my turf?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
It's wild. It's wild. Yeah, I always thought if I wanted to become like a raging alcoholic, I think I would be like the Chinese restaurant drinker, like rum drinks, just rum drinks and
when just beer alone isn't enough and you need like a 60 proof booze mixed with other 60 proof boozes
full of sugar
and then combined with something that makes you incapable of tasting the actual booze. Yeah, that's a good plan. One day, maybe. We all have a backup plan.
I figure. Yeah, that was mine. That's definitely mine. That's definitely mine. I'd be the guy that sat in the corner and people would tell stories about. You know what I mean? Like that guy. And they don't even have to be true stories. They're just going to be the stories that people tell. You know?
Yeah. The myth. The myth grows.
I like little towns like that. Like that's I feel like you don't get a whole lot of that outside of New England. You go up 84, like up in New York, and there's some there too. But like for the most part, old New England towns are like the best for like that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's just something about people from New England owning their like redneck hickness. Like you're not a redneck because you're living in New England, but they're just it's just part of a way of life,
rough around the edges,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that grit.
Yeah, there's a little bit
that helps us stand apart from other places.
Yeah. No doubt. So, I didn't bring you guys here to talk about dive bars. I apologize. I do go off in these directions sometimes, though. But when I heard Medway, I had to bring up the Lotus.
Typically, that's the first response. Like, oh, Medway, the Lotus.
Yeah.
No doubt. So we are here. Pat and Mike, you guys are members of Massive Nightmares. A fairly new project, new band, yeah.
Yeah. When's it, like a year?
A year? Has it been a year? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we started we did like one show, I think, in like the fall of 2023 without Tom C. And then we're like, this was fun, but kind of felt like we were missing something. And so at that time, Pat was doing bass, was playing the bass, and Tom C, having been our friend for 15 plus years, was like, yeah, I'd be down to play bass. And so that's, I think, when we kind of feel like officially became a band was when he joined. So that was late 2023.
Now, are you guys all in other projects too? Is that, or no? Is this just the main thing?
This is our main thing for me, at least for me and Pat. It's our main thing.
Yeah.
Tom C is a different story.
Tom's in about like 6, 7, 8 other bands. Who knows?
That's how it goes with New England, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it works in our favor. We can hop on a show, and other times, Tom's schedule is booked out for months. So we really got to pick our spots. But it was nice because Tom was, he approached us and was like, "Yeah, man, I love the music. Like, I'd love to play." And I was like, "Oh shit, Tom wants to be in this band? Great, I'll play guitar now," and frees me up to just do that like rhythm thing.
Tom is also in MK Naomi. He's also in Little Low, which are like both pretty active, both recording stuff and putting out records in the next year or so. And then he's been in a bunch of other bands that don't play as often, or like No Trigger. I don't think they played much this year. I don't know what their plans are for next year, but yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. But we value him as a pal and his contributions to the band, and yeah, it's been a blast. I feel like I've been very fortunate to be in bands with pretty much just my best friends. So it's super easy, and it's, I don't know, there's no drama. It's just like, let's get together and play some tunes, have a few beers, and see where it goes.
Yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Have you guys been involved in other projects like over the years though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
oh, yeah.
I feel like everyone I talk to has to have, because it's just like we're especially if you're a musician, like being in the location we are, it's pretty heavy. I feel like.
100%.
Yeah.
So me and Al played in this band called Great Lakes USA for a while, and so that was like more of like a little rougher pop punk kind of horrorcore sort of sound. But we did that for like 10 years, and it's not a former band, theoretically, but our bass player Pete moved to DC, so we're like, all right, well, we'll probably play a show again sometime down the road, but it was a good opportunity for us to say like, okay, let's play something that's a little bit different. So I think around then was when we started writing songs, and Pat, I don't know if you were still playing with Search Party, but like you were not busy with a band, so it felt like a good opportunity to bring you into the songwriting and kind of begin to work on new stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to hang out anyway, so we might as well play music. And it just, it's perfect because, that's, at this point, if we're not having fun doing what we're doing, like having a good time with your buddies, like why do it? Like,
there's so many things to waste your time on that when you're 40 and you have all of these other demands on your life and your time, it's like, all right, this needs to be both, creatively and artistically fulfilling in some way, but also, it needs to be a fun outlet and a reason to get together. And I think, Pat, like, I don't know, would you say that like Search Party was a little bit more surfy? Like, I don't know how to describe the types, like, genres of music. But
I don't either. I'm always like, it's just rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That project I was doing with my brother-in-law, and it was cool. It was like, we did, it was kind of like old throwback, like surf rock kind of mixed in with, like horror punk stuff. It was fun.
Yeah,
and
it was cool.
It made me have to work on my guitar chops for sure, which are still not there, but it was good exercise. But like playing with you guys, like playing kind of like indie rock, whatever you want to call it, what that we're doing now, it's like really fulfilling and like what I want to do.
Yeah, it's definitely our vibe. Like, I think, Great Lakes was one genre of music that I personally enjoy a lot of. So if you've ever been to Fest, it's like, love the Fest. But I also want to go and see, I don't know, Dinosaur Jr. sometime, or go see, not that we sound anything like Dinosaur Jr., but like, there's a whole, genre within the broader indie punk genre that we hadn't really explored much. And so I feel like this became an opportunity to just do something a little bit different. And Pat, an excellent songwriter, amazing musician. Like, so I think you brought a lot of cool ideas that we would never have thought of. So Al and I have been, writing songs for a long time and had it kind of down. And, I think having somebody like you who's like kind of coming at it from a different perspective and has, can kind of challenge some different ideas that we had, but came together nicely. And I feel like it's like a nice leather glove. I don't know why I use that expression, but
I can't wait to put that on our next round of t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive Nightmares, like a nice
a weathered glove.
Fits like a glove, right? Is that where we're going with that?
Catcher's mitts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig your sound for sure. Like I was telling Pat when Jeff who's part of like our roundtable monthly episode had brought you guys on and or brought your EP on for his local pick, and I love it whenever Jeff and I, because like so with us being in New England, we just use all of New England as our local, right? So
same.
And like whenever like he or I bring something that the other one doesn't know, like we get excited, you know what I mean? Because like but it made me realize there's a lot out there that I don't know, which is cool because like there's plenty of. I'm someone that has to discover something new. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly searching for a new sound and like a new band to listen to and everything like that. So I was pumped when he had brought you guys. I want to say, I ordered your last cassette, or at least it said it was the last one on Bandcamp, I think, when I had gotten it.
Yeah. That's false. In fact, there are. If we ordered 200 of them, there are probably like 100.
You got to keep it that way, though. That's how you get them. Like, there's only one left. I need. Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
I was like,
yeah, I mean, we made a bunch of tapes, and I very much I think we both were kind of like, I don't know, are tapes like legitimately a thing? But so sitting on my desk is the Sadlands tape. So our buddy Harley from Choke Up plays in Sadlands and a million other awesome bands. But I'm like, you know what? It's what people are doing. Like I bought like a $10 Walkman knockoff from China off of Amazon, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have one thing I can listen to this tape on. But I don't know, it's just a fun way to spread the word. They're not that expensive. We'll probably, we think we're gonna be recording in like February so like a month and a half, 2 months from now. So with that one, that'll be a full length, and I think we'll want to find someone to put that out on vinyl. But for now, tapes are fun, I
see it as like
a little nostalgic.
So I see the cassette tape. Like I have way too many of them, to be honest with you. But like they're all old ones that I happen to like. I think I helped someone move their storage unit, and he was like, "Hey, you can have these," and I'm kind of looking like, "Thanks," But like I'll buy them. Like I remember there was a record I was looking for, and they didn't have, like, they sold out. So I was like, fuck it, I'll get the cassette tape. Like, and like, it's almost like an art piece at this point, like with cassettes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's an art thing with records too, as you can see. I'm kind of a psycho, but
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, I
love it.
I like, it's kind of like buying a t-shirt from a band, and then like inevitably you get like too big for it. And so I have an entire like drawer filled with size small men's t-shirts from bands going back, I don't know, 15 years, but I don't know. I'm not going to throw them away. I'll probably never, like, I'm sure at some point I'm going to get asked by my wife what I'm planning to do with them. And
your daughter's going to wear them. Your daughter can wear them. Like, these cool bands. Your daughter's going to love Mustard Plug.
Yeah. She's going to really be into Boy Sets Fire, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fun though. Like, I mean, I have dozens of records from, like, most of my record collection is not cool records from bands that I've been listening to my whole life. It's mostly bands that I saw once at O'Brien's, and I'm like, these guys seem nice. Let me get their record. They came all this way.
Yeah.
Their music was cool.
There's a fine line, and this goes back to the shirt thing too. Like with merch from bands, like, it's, to me, I still think of it all as like art, even like that. Yeah. And I have a hard 100%. Time throwing away art. I was moving one time, and I had gotten this huge, I still have it. My kitchen table is like, it has like 6 chairs. I don't think I've ever had more than 3 people in my apartment. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know why I needed this giant wooden thing that I got from like a rehome store, you know, but I got it. And then like I was moving and I was like, oh, I'll give this to my neighbor. He burns a bunch of shit. And when I flipped it over to like rip the legs off of it, I saw something. I didn't realize it was on there. There's like an inscription on there from somebody who like made it for somebody's wedding. So that it became art at that point. So now I still have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
cool.
yeah, I like books. Like I have books that are old and I had to throw some away that got like wet in a storage unit. And like, I felt so bad, you know, like just like, so that's what that's probably why I took the giant case of cassette tapes from my buddy. Cause I was like, well, I don't want you to throw them away, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, as you can see here, this is all cassette tapes that I have behind me too. And there's plenty more where that came from.
I need to find those wooden, like, is that like one of those wooden shelves? You can those things were like a dime a dozen. And I've only seen them for like hundreds of dollars now. And they only fit like, I have way too many cassettes for just one. So I'm like, I'm really just buying time until the price drops.
I probably got that at the Salvation Army in like 2007. Like when I had a Volvo that, you know, I could actually play tapes in, you know, like that was.
Now, what was did you guys make the cassettes yourself or did you send them out and get them made or?
Yeah, no, we did the old pay somebody to do it for us. The place we used, I mean, they like print on the tapes and stuff, and they do a really great job with like the artwork and stuff. So, you know, there's like 3 places that if you Google like I want to make a tape for my band that show up, and this is like the place that I think most people use. It's somewhere in Canada, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely neat. It's you know, there's a little bit of a soul in there. So, but yeah. I don't know that we'll do one again, but maybe we'll see.
I made a cassette for when this was 2021, I think. There was another podcast that my cousin has. He was doing like a benefit, like with a huge raffle. They were raising money for type 1 diabetes, and I was like, let me see. I talked to like all the guests that I had on at that point, and this was like when the podcast kind of made that music turn, because it wasn't always just like a music podcast. And sometimes I still don't think it is, but you know, but most of my 99% of my guests have something to do with music. So, but like, so I had asked all the guests that I had on that were music guests, because usually everybody gives me a song to play, and I'm like, hey, can I throw your song on this mixtape? There's only going to be 3 made. And it's gonna go for like a raffle for a benefit and blah blah blah, and they're like, oh yeah, cool. I'm like, all right, cool. So I decided I wanted to go one step further, and I wanted to like weave in parts of the conversations in between songs with these artists. And I did it all alone, and like it is way more work than it used to be. I think like I had to figure out how to get stuff from the computer onto a cassette tape, because everything's like, no, you can go the other way now. You know what I mean? Like, and then I had to like,
trying
mix
to
it,
outload it or whatever, just whatever word describes doing whatever you're trying to do. And it's like, are you sure? Wouldn't you rather listen to this on Spotify? It sucks.
And then I had to mix it and master it. And I was like, what am I? I found some like, I did like a trial for something that would do auto mastering for. I'm like, just get it done. Just do it online. And like, it was the biggest pain in the ass. And then I'm just dubbing tape to tape. And I'm like, how did I used to sit there and do this for hours. Like it was fun. I'm like, this is not fun. There's nothing fun about this anymore. But yeah, so, and then all 3 tapes went to the same person. I didn't realize it was one big raffle prize, not like they were raffling things off. So yeah. So someone out there has 3 of 3 mixtapes from the Struggling Artist.
If you are listening, you should give 2 or 3 of them to somebody else that you've had enough time with them. So we want to hear what's on that.
Yeah.
But
do you have a master copy, Trev?
Yeah, I do. I got one floating around.
You don't want to listen to it on digital. You want to listen to it on the tape.
It's on. I think I put it on the Patreon, so the patrons can hear it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So
check
it out.
That's awesome.
But like speaking of like the dubbing tapes and stuff, like I'll hear like, you know, you'd wait for a song to come on the radio or whatever, and like as soon as like it hits, like you get like part of a conversation in the background, or like I remember always remembering like the song that came before the song I recorded. So like it's a weird memory. Like I hear like, you know, a Soul Asylum song, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now like this Nirvana song is going to come on next. Yeah. You know, it's just like linked in that way. It's cool, like capturing those things. Like you have to try so much harder.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when you smell like old cigarette smell, and you're like, oh, this reminds me of being 8 years old. Like it's like
sitting in grandma's car.
Oh my God. Like I just like all the little like weird things that you just that never escape your mind. But yeah. I'm with you. I definitely remember like doing the whole like, oh, I want to listen to this song, and like you start to hear it be played on the radio, and you run over to your tape player to try and capture it. That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I used to hit like record and walk away, like just record the radio, and and then I would like record MTV when I was a kid too, like just hit record and go to school. You know, put the VCR at like super long play, so it like. It's the worst quality ever, but you got like 8 hours of MTV, and then you realize it's just the same stuff being cycled over and over and over, you know?
Speaking of MTV, have you guys seen MTV lately? It's like...
Isn't it just ridiculousness?
Like, it's like 17 hours a day of ridiculousness, and then like I don't know, 7 hours of Catfished, or whatever that show is called. Catfisher, the Catfish. But yeah, it's wild. Like we just both went to Brooklyn to go see the Hold Steady do Massive Nights, and we're in this hotel, and so we had some downtime, and I'm like, oh, let's see what's on TV, and it's just hours and hours and hours of Rob Dyrdek introducing people to introducing
fail videos.
YouTube fail videos.
Yeah,
what a genius this guy is.
That's what you watch in your room. I watched Ghostbusters because
nice. Okay. Well, because when in Rome, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I read recently that I forgot who owns MTV now, but they like deleted all the music archives. Like I don't know if it was by mistake or what, but they're all gone. Like all the unplugs are gone. They're gone.
What genius was like, you know what we should do? Let's get rid of all this great material that we've captured from like, I don't know, the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Like just a touchstone for this generation of, you know, like all of the unplugged that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal. I thought that was awesome.
Like it's like, why let's just get rid of all the music on music television. That's just it just doesn't make any sense. But
that's a really stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it's wild. I was reading, like I was following the story too, because it was like it happened. First, it was the unplugged stuff. They must have did it on purpose, and then like the full archive was like the full archive is now gone, because I guess there was a way to access it still, but you can't anymore. It's gone.
Was it like they were running out of space in their hard drive, and they're like, you know what? Fucking
I have
Bush unplugged. Smell you later.
Oh man. So I want to say, listening to the EP, like it definitely has like that like rock alternative kind of sound to it, right? Like that we all probably grew up on, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Is it and if it's a different sound from what you guys are normally used to, as you said. So like, was this was the idea, or did you kind of figure the sound out along the way and go, yeah, let's do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still figuring out what the sound is, and like that's the greatest part about like, you know, us being friends, but also like having like, you know, Al comes in with a song and like has a demo for it, and you know, we'll work it out, workshop it as a whole band, and you know, ultimately it comes out being the result of everybody else's input. And you know, it's not like you have to play this part exactly this way. It's like here's what I have for the idea, and like that's just you know, all of our parts coming together to create this kind of like alternative 90s punk adjacent thing, whatever it is. But like we're honestly like just like the melody, the rhythm, like that's like what we're into. So
there was no like intentionality behind like, oh, we want to have a band that sounds like this. It was, Al has a style. He's an incredible guitar player, great songwriter. Like, so he brings something. Pat writes awesome. He wrote a bunch of great songs for the EP. And I think just, we're just meeting in the middle. We're like, as we go, we're figuring out what sounds good, what sounds less good. But there's no like intentionality. We're not like, we really want to sound like the Lemonheads. It's like, oh, that song might sound a little bit like the Lemonheads, but that's awesome. Let's move on to the next thing, or like, we'll keep working on it. But I'm definitely happy with where everything has netted out. I think, it's just nice to try different shit. And I feel like, growing up with Pat, so me and Pat were, pretty much best friends since, seventh grade or so. So we played music all growing up, and, we listened to all the punk stuff. And then Pat, had his own, preferences to music. Like, you've always been the person that I know that is actively like looking for new stuff, or like actively experimenting with different sounds. And then having played with Al for like 10 years, I know his sound very well. So it's very fun to be able to kind of take those two, bring them together, do whatever I do on drums, and, figuring out like, okay, how do we make this work? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's been fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Plus, like, having the input from Trevor, like when we were recording, like he was super just talented musician and producer, and he helped us a lot with like, building harmonies and melodies, and like kind of realizing like the potential of some of the songs that we came in with, So.
No, and I think I don't know if it's organic or not, but I do feel like the 90s are like making a comeback. Like I feel like a lot of very cool bands, are putting out stuff, and there's like a little bit of like a 90s feel to it. So I don't know if it's just, I don't know, everything's a circle, or whatever the fuck that expression is, but like everything that's old is new again. And I just feel like there are some influences that are popping up in different bands that I'm hearing that kind of remind me of the 90s, but like not necessarily like Jawbreaker 90s, like, whether it's, the Lemonheads is the one example that comes up a lot, but like, any of those indie rock bands that we listened to growing up, that I think, they're not really punk, but I don't know. It's finding its way into different stuff. So it's kind of cool to also be, experiencing that, and also, accidentally writing music that sort of fits into that whole genre or that world.
Now, when you guys get to the studio, do you have it like, are you still fleshing out the songs, or are you just taking suggestions from the producer once you get in there? Like, do you have when you got there, like, have you ever gotten in there and been like, all right, this song we got this, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is a completely different song, and we like it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. It hasn't happened a ton. Like, so when we went to record with Trevor, I think everything was nailed down. I think it was just, as he, was listening, and as like things seemed like this is an obvious opportunity to add like an extra vocal part here, or so it was like little subtle things that he helped us with that, I don't know, like anytime you write music, you are contributing to it, you kind of get, it's sometimes hard to see the forest from the trees. So like, we're in it. We've been playing the song the way it's been played for a few months, working on it. And then somebody who's also a great musician, songwriter, hears it for, basically the first time. They're automatically going to have something that stands out to them. Maybe it's something really awesome, and they're like, I love that part. Or maybe it's like, yeah, like I'm hearing this in my head a little bit different. And I think Trevor does a good job of knowing when it makes sense to introduce that idea. Like, obviously it's not like, hey, I think you should actually change the verse from this song completely. It's more like, here's a little idea you might want to consider. So those little subtle things I feel like came out here and there, and I think I don't know. I thought it made a noticeable difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to do a full length in February, and I think we have probably like 7 or 8 songs nailed down. So we'll see like what happens on this go around. But I mean, I'm open to some of that, like just the creative process, like seeing where it goes. Like that's another thing like I really like about this band. It's like we're not like super precious about like things. Like I'll come in with a demo and like I've been listening to the demo for months, and it's like, all right, you know what? Like here's the idea. Let's let the band see where it goes. Like don't have a huge ego about it. Like
very much. Nobody's an asshole in this band. We may seem like that I don't know, like we have a lot of fun. So like when we're playing a show, Al, he's a loud man, and so he is saying stuff and calling people out, but it's all in good fun. And yeah, it's definitely a very I think for us, especially now, we're like we don't want to record something for the sake of recording something. So we have like 15 songs that we could go in and record the way that they're written today. We have like 8 songs. We're like, no, I don't think we're going to make any more changes to this one. But I think for us, it's just like, there's a handful of songs that we're still like iterating on, or like, Pat's like, oh, I have an idea for that song that we were kind of done with. And like, we're like, all right, let's give it a shot. And sometimes it's awesome. And we're like, that's makes that song a ton better. I think you brought in like we went to record with like about the same time last year, like February. And, Pat had like rewritten like one of the verses to the song, and it was awesome. Made a huge difference to me. So, I mean, I think there's always room for those like last minute changes, but, for the most part, we're just, we know we're on a timeline. We have all the material. It's just getting it into a place that we all feel very happy about, which I feel like we're coming along. So very excited.
Right on. Tell me about like being, being in a band in our age. I mean, I'm a little older than you guys, but around this age, and like being able to, so like you put out a cassette. You said you're going to do vinyl next, or you're going to try to do vinyl next. Like so, but like typically with the throes of that comes touring and all this stuff. Like, are you guys going to be doing touring, or is it like, well, we still have like our adult stuff we have to do, families and jobs, and careers, you know what I mean? So like how does that, like, do you plan on doing the touring? Or do you kind of like accept that like we're gonna put this out on vinyl, but like we're not gonna be able to do a full like US like a tour to sell it all or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I feel like one of like the luxuries of being in a band like at our age, it's like I don't know, we can kind of pick those spots if we have to put things out ourselves, we put it out ourselves, and we do things the way that we want to do them, that we're comfortable doing them with the time that we have, we have families, we have jobs, and we're all very lucky to be in a band and get to, live out this artistic dream. But, we're not, I'm not like quitting my job to go tour the US. You're like, all right, cool. I show up at home and my wife's like, so.
What's going on?
Yeah. Where have you been?
No. Talk about that. I don't think we have unrealistic expectations. I think on one hand, I think the music we've written is fucking awesome. I'm very proud of it. I think the stuff we're writing now is going to be even better in my opinion. And I think we're going to do things opportunistically, like, it'd be rad to work with a label and put something out, and we would support it in a way that works for us. And there's kind of like a duality of like, okay, we're not 25. When I was playing in Great Lakes, we went and, took 2.5 weeks and did something in Germany. Like, I don't think we'll do that. But, if there's an opportunity to do a few days here and there, we have the flexibility to kind of do that a little bit. So for us, it's more about like, what makes sense for us, like Pat was saying, and what do we want to get out of it? And if that's the best way to do it, then we'll do it. And if, we also, we've played a handful of shows, not like on the weekends, but that's the other thing. It's like, I don't feel like we have to play like a show every other week. I think having done that, been there and playing O'Brien's like twice a month for however long with Ryan, and like that was super fun. But nobody likes bugging their friends and family to go see them play at someplace on a random Sunday or something. So once in a while, sure, but not with the same frequency. 27-year-old Mike Doyle was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun with this, though. I will say that because so I gotta ask in Back to the Beach, you guys are like the gang vocals are for the guitar solo, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had a blast when I heard that. Like it was all Yeah, like kind of like what was that something that started as a gag and it just stuck?
So it started because Al couldn't. He wasn't able to make rehearsal one day, and it was just myself, Tom, and Doyle, and we're trying to like rehearse the songs. And when it comes to that part, like Al is doing that, and so we filled in by doing that like as a vocal. And then we just kept doing it, and it created a life of its own. So yes,
it's
the new record may also feature some of those little earworms. Who knows?
That's awesome.
A lot of Judd, influenced a lot by Judd.
Judd.
And like that was another like little thing where like this is funny and fun and like I don't know. I think that is our like what we are leaning into. It's like nothing is precious. There's nothing like, let's do whatever the fuck we want. Like, if this part makes us smile and people don't love it, who cares? Like, if it makes us happy, let's do it. And I think when we were recording that, Trevor was like, "Yeah, like let's get in there. Like, let's do like a little gang vocal-y thing." So yeah,
everybody got in the vocal booth and else did the. It's great. So like we played it when we played at the Sill the other week. Like it was a great. It was like the night before Thanksgiving, and it was great crowd. Like we played with Cape Crush and New Favorites, and I think Joe McMahon, or I forget their name, but like there's everybody singing along to Back to the Beach, and then that break comes, and then everybody's singing back like the dweedly dweed. It's just kind of funny. Like it's light. It's like we're having a good time.
Yeah,
like, there's plenty of serious music out there, and there's some songs in the EP that are serious, but like let's have a little fun. Let's do some fun stuff, guys.
Yeah, no, it was just I've never heard anything like that before, and it caught me too. Like the moment I heard it, I was like, "Wait, what's going on here?" No, it's awesome, man. It might be my favorite track on the EP, to be honest with you. Like the whole thing's awesome, it's solid, but like that one, just like I don't know, I can't like not start smiling when it happens. You know what I mean? Like you just have to like you just kind of like you chuckle a little bit, So totally dig it.
Yeah.
So, you guys? So, how often? So, you guys are playing shows once a month or so, or
once a month or so, I think. Yeah. I mean, and we're going to be recording, going to be having a kid, so the frequency might change a little bit. But I think once the record we're recording comes out, I think we'll probably play more, maybe a little bit more than once. I think we'll definitely be like out there trying to promote it and push it, but it's like whatever feels right. And I think we've worked with some folks who've helped kind of get the word out. I just feel like it's also like a different time. Like I don't know, like playing every single day to me isn't it's I couldn't fathom playing a show a day and doing that for 3 weeks and playing all over the US, for example. You know, part of me would love to do that and just kind of get out there and play every night, but it's also kind of grind. We have other shit going on, but you know, I think it's like content is like, you know, making content is like now a huge form of promotion, and you know, figuring that out is kind of interesting, but you know, I think we'll do whatever combination of things we need to like, you know, get the word out, but also not burn ourselves out and not like step on our other important life obligations like family and kids and friends and work and all that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, what does, because you guys have both been playing music basically forever, you were saying, right?
Yeah.
So since you guys are young, what does it do? Like, what does it fulfill for you to make a song, to write a song? Like, what does it do for you internally?
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's certainly like, I don't know, just elevates like my day-to-day, like mundane existence. Like it's like, you know, like when you're a kid, like in your head, you have like music videos, like you're looking at like life going by and you're like, oh, that'd be an awesome music video. And like, that's kind of like the realization of that. Like, all right, here's something unique to me that like I can put out and like help, like, this is how I feel, or like, this is,
it's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think,
go ahead.
oh, no. I mean, I think that's spot on. Like I think there's two things. One, there's like I don't know, there's just like there is a unique feeling once you're like, all right, this thing is done and I am really happy with it. And then I think there's a little bit of a different feeling once it's been done and it's existed for a bit and maybe it's been recorded and you can listen to it. And like, I don't know if you've had this experience, but you listen to something that you've recorded and you're like, you're like second guessing it. And then maybe you overhear somebody say something positive and like, you're like, holy shit, like this isn't just in my own head. And I think a lot of playing music in your 30s and now 40s is, you know, writing music for yourself and writing music for the band, because that's music that you like and music you want to hear. And then I think there's an element of, wait, people beyond the band enjoy this. So like hearing you say like, I really love that part in that song is like, holy shit. Like it almost doesn't seem real at times. But it is like incredibly fulfilling to get that once in a while. But at the same time, I think for the most part, we kind of go into this being like, this is for us. And, you know, if other people like it, which I hope they do, that's also fucking awesome. But, so it is like an extra, like warm gratification feeling when someone's like, oh yeah, I really dig that record you guys wrote, or that song's great. So, which has been, you know, it's been fun to do that, especially with like, you know, again, been friends with Pat, writing music with Pat for a long time, but we didn't play music together for, I don't know, 20 years. So like, yeah, we'd like, you know, jammed here and there, but finding that opportunity to be like, cool, like now I get to share, you know, I was sharing, you know, the music with Al in the past and Great Lakes, and now it's fun to share, you know, hey, we all contributed to this thing. And, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a cool, very cool, special feeling.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, it's you know, to take something that's just like an idea and to translate it into, you know, whatever it ultimately ends up being, like, you know, it's bringing us together, and like, you know, if we're having fun doing it, or like other people are enjoying it, like that's just that, you know, it's like, this is why we're doing it. Like, it feels good. Like, if I don't play like music or something, or like during the week, like I start to get like
so grumpy.
Yeah, very grumpy. Really, like I need that release. Like I need that like stimulus of like, just this is what I got to do. I got to let this out. And so like, yeah, it's great. I feel very fortunate to have this outlet.
So it's always been consistent for the both of you then, playing music? Like never, we've never walked, we never been like, I'm done with this, and walk away for, you know, a year or something and be like, wow, this sucks. I got to go back. You know what I mean?
I mean, so like Al and I, so Great Lakes played a ton at the very kind of beginning of being a band. So like the first few years we were like, you know, we did a tour, we put out a record, we did another EP, and then we played maybe 3 shows a year. But we would still get together, me, Al, Pete, Mike Priscotta, every week, just because, one, it's fun to play music with your friends, and it's great to catch up. And I don't know, that's, that feeling of like, oh yeah, great. This is a thing I get to do with my pals. And, I do feel like it's one of those unique things that not a ton of people get to experience that are not like part of music. It's like, I like, to your point, Pat, like if you don't have that outlet, you feel like something's off. I'm like, what do you do? Do you just like go to Target and like, just walk the aisles? Is that what your outlet is? Or like, maybe for some people it's like, oh, I play in a softball league, or I really like running. It's like, yeah, those things are fine. But what about the fun stuff? What about like, drinking Miller Lights with your pals, writing music, talking about insane shit? That for me is it.
Talking about the days at the Lotus.
The days at the Lotus, yeah. Yeah, but like, it's a great opportunity. I mean, like that's my daughter. Like we were on the way back from her swim class today. She's like, first of all, she's very excited that we're going to be in a podcast.
Oh yeah,
like she listens to like science podcasts and stuff, and like it's wonderful. Like he learns a lot from them. She's like, I was like, you could do a podcast someday, and like so planted that seed. She's like, what are you guys going to talk about? I was like, well, probably why we started the band, what the band's about, and she's like, so she started like quizzing me beforehand. I was like, yeah, like you get to create like this thing, and then you get to experience things that you might not have otherwise experienced, or meet people that you might not have otherwise met. Like it's it's you're all part of like this scene of, and like it's that's also really nice. Like I spent a lot of time like just like recording like part of these tapes. These are all like 4-track tapes, like just like recording like random one-off songs like in the basement, like multi-tracking things. Like that's fun. It's great for demoing, but like getting together as the group, playing live, like going out, meeting people like yourself, like people that are interested. Like it's gratifying. It feels good, and it's good to share that energy and that experience.
And I think there's like I don't know. I wrote like a little top whatever of the year, like top records of the year for some blog.
Is Mike's top 10?
Yeah, sorry.
Taking over?
I
hostile takeover. Travis taking over.
Yeah.
Oh man!
I accidentally did that, guys. Sorry. I don't know how technology works. So that was Ways Away, which we saw at Fest, and they were awesome. But so I wrote this little thing just about how there are so many really fucking awesome bands, and I actually noticed that one of the bands that I wrote about was in one of the the turntable list. So Leisure Boys, that record, so awesome. Like Matt and Brian, and so like again, like people that I've been friends with for a very long time, like Matt and Brian Jones, who, have been playing music in different bands, and getting to see them put out a like incredible EP. And then, other people that we know, like Harley from Choke Up, like, oh, Sadlands, what do they sound like? We got to play with them this year, and they, awesome music, like really, really, really great music. And then, there's a ton of other just awesome bands around here that put out stuff this year. And it's awesome. It's a lot of people that are like kind of in our similar situations. Like, yeah, we're not 20, maybe older than 30, but like, we're doing the thing that we really enjoy doing, and doing it very well. And so it's, I don't know, every time I hear of like, another band being like, yeah, like a band Pretty Out, like they're another newer band from the Boston area. They just put out an EP that's excellent, very, very, very awesome. So it's just, every time you hear one of those new records, you're like, oh wow, this is so cool. And then that feeling of like, hey, like we get to meet the people that we don't know yet. Like other than James, I didn't know the folks from Cape Crush super well, but they're awesome. They're really freaking lovely people. And, Cody helped us get a couple of our first shows. And so getting a chance to like play with them and like connect with them, and, we're just all going through the same stuff, and it's and like, we get to share that together. And that's one of the beautiful things about it.
Yeah. I think I said at the beginning of the podcast, like I feel like we're very lucky where we are.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't play any instruments or anything like that, but like just doing what I do, and like the people that I'm involved, like that I've met over the last some odd years, and like just being able to go to shows, and like just kind of like the sense of like community, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's very much.
You're, having hosting like us and all these artists, like that's so awesome, man. Like I really appreciate like you taking the time to curate these podcasts, and like that's you're putting in work there.
Yeah, I do it. I'm selfish. I just want to. I want to hear new music, and I want to talk to bands about their music. So it comes from a very selfish place. But thank you, Pat. Thank you.
I mean, there are easier ways to do it for sure. But I mean, like you're taking the time to do this, so appreciate it.
No doubt.
Yeah. No, I mean,
meet somebody at the Lotus. You can, chat with somebody there. Like, this new record. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh man. Awesome, so we're recording. You guys are starting recording in February for tracking for an LP. That's awesome. I'm excited to hear more from you guys. Now it's way too early to talk about when it's going to come out and all that stuff. I get it. Yeah. But like, tell me about like the time frame of these songs that you like what was going on for you guys. You know what I mean, with your songwriting at that moment.
For the EP or for the LP?
For the LP.
For the LP. I mean, so like, I would say a handful. Like we were playing probably when we recorded the EP, but maybe hadn't like finalized some of the parts, and some of the other stuff is been around for a little bit, and some of the other things are brand new. So like I'm really excited because there is a lot of unknown about what's going to come out of it, but like that's an opportunity to like really lean into some of maybe like the spontaneous ideas that we have, or whatever we're feeling. Like it's it's nice. I mean, this is why like having me as a songwriter and Al as a songwriter is good, because Al comes in with like fully finished ideas, and it's like, here's the roadmap, here's where we're going to go. Like, whereas I like, I'll have like parts and like we'll workshop it. So like it might take a couple months for me to finish the song. Yeah. Like I have an idea in my head, I have a demo, but like I'm infamous for like rewriting a part 7 or 8 times.
That is a fact. Pat will do that, but but that's also kind of the nice thing about being in this band is that, if you played with somebody else, they're like, come on, man, like we just fucking learned this part, what are you doing changing it? Whereas with this, it's like, okay, Pat, let's hear it. And it's like, that sounds awesome. Yeah. That new version of that thing does sound better than the last version. And I mean, we're here to make ourselves happy and fulfill that like kind of itch to write stuff and make new music. And, I think, I think a lot about like how everything's a little weird. Like I think everyone's a little bit, even if you're doing well, whatever, financially or not, like everything just feels a little off. Like fucking another Trump presidency, crazy shit. Like the internet is off the rails, like the fucking AI shit. So I don't know. Everyone's feeling a little uneasy. So it's nice to be able to come back to something that is consistent and get together in person and say, what's up, and like play music to your pals. And I think a lot of, I don't know, like, I don't know if you get this vibe, but I don't know. There's a little bit of a vibe of like, yeah, the world is a little weird. Like you're not alone in feeling the way you feel about how things are going. And a lot of it's shitty, but we're in it together. And, the community stuff is great. And, but, I think there's a little bit of that anxiety creeping in, but, trying to keep it real, but also adding a little, something fun in there for the kids.
And music has always been kind of an escape. So like, that's, That's what we do it for. You know, you should bring this the negative, but try to be positive and like.
Gotta stay positive.
Dude.
I don't know.
Steady.
I wish I had that outlook.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, and everyone is like, you know, there are days, believe me, where I'm like, this is a scary time to have kids, but you know, I think one of the things I am blessed with that I can, you know, say is probably a unique thing, and maybe not unique to this group, but like unique in general, is just I have so many really, really great close friends. A lot of them play music, and you know, we lift each other up. We come to each other's shows. Tom's seasoned a few bands, Little Low, MK Naomi, but we're all great friends, and like we spend a ton of time just doing regular stuff together, like parties or get-togethers or whatever, supporting each other. And I think that's another just really, really nice thing that we have going for ourselves. And one of the things that I'm when I'm in a place where I'm like, this is not good, this is like a, maybe it's like, getting a little out of hand. I'm like, you know what? I do have incredible friends, and I can call up Pat or, Al or Tom or whomever and just be like, yo, let's get together. Like no shortage of people who would bail me out of jail. Let's just put it that way.
That's awesome.
That's, yeah, it depends on why, but yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, for like most things, yes.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I got your back. I got your back, buddy, for sure.
Well,
It's been like, what, how many years? 30, 35 years?
that's a long time.
The first time me and Pat hung out, like the first time, I would say me and Pat's first date was we went and saw the movie Independence Day in the movie theater. I believe it was 1996, around July 4th. That was I think one of the first times we hung out as friends. Pat was a little bit of a bully at the time, but he cooled off. He cooled off, and we became best of friends. And,
look, I was the oldest of 5 brothers. That was my defense mechanism. I'm a more cultured, emotionally mature person now.
You are very emotionally mature compared to what you were like when you were 14.
I hope we all are.
Well, it's in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's allowed like one day a month where you get to just be a wild animal. We got a little bit of that. We went to see Piebald last night, which is a blast. That's another
nice.
Are you wearing your Piebald shirt underneath that too?
No, it's in my closet.
Yeah, baby.
Let me just take off my shirt and go put it on. But that I feel like that is like another like kind of like, oh yeah, like grew up listening to these bands, and a lot of those bands are just like, fuck it, we'll do a few shows, and the crowd is the exact, they are aging with us. But it's, you see a ton of friends there. It's great. So more stuff like that is what you need. So.
And so the things that kind of keep us together, like you see people at like these shows that you don't see like ever otherwise, like it's really nice, like, and to have like some contribution to that, like what we're creating. A forum for that is really gratifying.
I know it's a weird time of year as far as like shows, because like end of year and everything, but do you guys have any shows coming up in January at all? Or
so it's funny because we were actually on a thread with Ken talking about trying to get a show together. So I think we're going to try to get something in Jan, or maybe Feb, but yeah, hopefully we can pull something off.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the tough part is just everyone is like both very busy and playing, either doing other bands or other shows, but there'll be something coming out soon.
All right.
Hopefully January.
Hopefully I can check you guys out. I'd love to come catch a show at some point.
Yeah.
So
that'd be a blast.
I try. I have my work schedule strange. I work 12-hour shift overnights, but I only work like 15 days a month. So like last year, the first half of the year, like I made it to every show. And then the second half, like it was like I worked every show. I was like, God damn it. But I'll find it.
Awful.
I'm just going to just not go to work.
Where's the nearest venue to you? Like, what's like?
Oh, I don't know. Probably the Vernon, Hotel Vernon.
Okay, all right.
I go there. Yeah.
Blackstone VFW.
Yeah. What band? One night I was doing something and I drove by the VFW in Upton, and there was like,
oh hell yeah,
there was a band playing. I'm like, oh cool. And I got home, I found out it was Keep Flying. Do you know? Have you heard of them? No, they're like out of Buffalo. I think some of them are out of Buffalo, but like I was like, holy shit! Like, because the producer of the podcast, he's like a huge fan of them, and I was like, dude, they're playing up the street. Like,
that's
like I love
awesome.
that, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
so
yeah.
I go to. I do go to. I probably go to Faces the most, and it's a long drive. So like, I have to say 2 beers only. You know.
Yeah.
I went there.
2 beers in the way there, 2 beers there, 2 beers in the way back. Is that the
No, 2 beers there. That's it. Or else I'll be sleeping in the parking lot. Like it's those beers are high test, you know. So
they are. Yeah. They make a nice beer there.
They sure do.
Yeah, I definitely remember. So did you grow up where you are, like in this the general like?
No, I grew up in southern Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I grew up like down on the coast, and I came to Boston for a show once, and I got hooked on like the punk scene up here. So
yeah, what was your first punk show in Boston?
The Dropkick Murphys, the Ducky Boys, and I don't remember who else was on the bill because I've seen that combination so many times. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, that was like my first show. I was probably like 19 or 20. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I remember the first show in Boston I went to. Pat, I think you were there, but like we took a train into the city. It was like it was a snowstorm, and we were going to see Anti-Flag play with the Bouncing Souls. Half of that bill is still playing shows. So, but I mean, that was like our, at that time, for us, it was like the show. Like we're like, holy shit, these bands are playing together in Boston. So, it was a nice first show in Boston, I would say. But yeah, I definitely also remember playing at the Upton VFW, probably with like Kicked in the Head and the Goonies, and back when Pat and I were in a hardcore straight edge band that did a couple of Minor Threat covers. That was definitely a time.
Yeah, Up in Arms, baby.
Up in Arms.
Where can people find Massive Nightmares on the interwebs?
Are you asking me because you want me to just say the whole URLs?
No, like Instagram,
www./ we're on Instagram, we're on Bandcamp, we're on Spotify. If you type in Massive Nightmares, are we on YouTube? No, I don't think we are. Not yet. Yeah. Not yet. Maybe soon.
No, we are.
You never know. My dad's on YouTube, so why not? Let's get on there.
Don't look that up. Or maybe do. Maybe do.
Yeah.
Right on. Hey, when you guys are ready to drop that album, hit me up. Let's do something.
I would.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring I can bring my setup out to you guys, and we'll do this thing live.
That'd be fucking.
I just gotta find
sick.
find a camera guy for that. But yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
And we'll have some fun. And I'm excited to hear what's next. I really am. I really enjoy your EP. Like I said, when Jeff brought it, I grabbed it right away, and because the moment I heard it, I'm like, yep, this is like total good stuff for me. So
Jeff rules. We appreciate you so much for doing this and giving us an opportunity to shoot the shit with you, and looking forward to seeing some of those bands on your turntable pop up on the pod. I know. I bet the Leisure Boys would be excited to come say what's up. But yeah, we'd love to do it again. And thanks for having us.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Really appreciate it, man.
Of course. Hey, tell your daughter She can be a podcaster. You know?
Oh, she's got ideas.
She primed you. You were ready to go when you got on here.
She really did, dude. It was great. Like getting in the car after swim, she's like, "So who's going to be there?" It's like me and Doyle. It's like we'll probably talk about like when we met when we were in middle school, and like who's in the band, and like it was great.
She's got a killer PowerPoint presentation about dogs. Let me tell you,
awesome.
It is
very good.
You got a creator on your hands, then, huh? You got a creative. You got a creative soul in your family.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you so much, man. We'll talk soon.
Take care, Trev.
All right, and that's the show. I want to thank Mike and Pat of Massive Nightmares for being today's guest on the Struggling Artist Podcast. In the show notes, you will find links to their social media as well as their Bandcamp. Go grab their album. It's really, really good. Thank you to Chris Chavez and Jeff Bousquet for being producers of the show. If you want to give them a follow over on Instagram, you should. It is at JRBimage for Jeff, and for Chris, it is at 716 The Sound. Thank you to State Line Records for being sponsors of the podcast. If you're into vinyl records and you're into Boston music, head over to StatelineRecords.com and grab something from the label before they're sold out. Thank you to Loser's Circle for always allowing us to use The Great Illusion of Time off of their album Took Long Enough as the theme song to the Struggling Artist Podcast. Love you guys. You're the best. This past December, I got to go see them again for their yearly show, and it was so much fun. Looking forward to seeing them again soon. To the patron saints of the Struggling Artist Podcast Patreon, I thank you as well. Without your contributions over at Patreon, we would not be able to do all the fun things we like to do. We got some stuff in the works. I know I keep saying that, but I want to keep it a secret, but I also want to let you know there is something going on, and we hope that you all enjoy it once it's complete. If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/podcast TSA. The tiers are inexpensive. Go give it a look. See if it's something up your alley. They're a little, they're inexpensive. You get a lot out of it. We got a lot of shows over there. We do a lot of things. So check it out. All right, it's time to get out of here with a song. The guys at Massive Nightmares were kind enough to give us a tune to play for you all at the end of the episode. And we're about to play it. This is from their self-titled EP, Massive Nightmares. The song is called Worth It. Until next week, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you then.
Making me anxious and nervous, like it's got it out for me, and you hurt.